So we're going to make some Play-Doh today. It's a new recipe I've never tried. It's a Play-Doh without cooking. So what you need a cup of salt, just normal salt, whatever you call it. Not sea salt or anything. Oui. So for every cup of salt you need 2 cups of flour, just normal one. I bought the fancy one because they didn't have any pasta anymore. I'm going to make a mess now. I should have opened it before, but it's closed. So you mix all the dry ingredients together. I feel like Paul Hollywood a bit now. So 2 cups of flour. Taking ages to coming down. There you go. And then I always add cream of tartar because it's good, so it preserves it. If you put cream of tartar, it lasts for up to 6 months without being put in the fridge. This is not a cream of tartar though. So you add a couple of teaspoonful of cream of tartar. Which will, you can add one with the wee thingy. You mix well. So at this point, you want to decide if you want to make it colored. You have to add the food coloring to your boiling water. You have to have boiling water. So it's 2 cups of flour, 1 cup of salt, and more or less a cup and a half of boiling water, boiled water. But so if you add it gradually, you will realize when it's time to stop adding water. So it's really boiling, so please don't touch it with your hands and don't do it with the kids as well. So you mix everything. You add the vegetable oil, a couple of spoons. I always add a bit more though because I like it soft, my Play-Doh, and shiny. You can add Vaseline oil if you want to make it more shiny, but I didn't buy it, so we won't have it. So you mix really well and you start to add your water. We're going to make one, just plain one, and then we're going maybe to add things afterwards. So add a bit and start to mix and see how it looks. You want to... So you'll realize once it gets all wet, you realize you can start to knead. And that's enough. So as you see, I've used a really little water, less than what I was expecting. It depends on the flour, it depends on the day, it depends on a lot of things. When you start to knead, it's quite warm, but still, so I wouldn't allow the children to use it yet. You just knead as you would knead bread or whatever. And the more you do it, the more it becomes malleable. Can you say malleable in English? Sometimes not. And you knead, and that's your Play-Doh ready. And it lasts for up to 6 months. If you pop it in a wee food bag, like a freezer bag, a Ziploc, you can keep it in the fridge, but with the Scottish weather, I don't think there's a need for that. So, at this point, we can add things. We're going to leave half of it here. And I bought some seeds to give it a nice texture. So there's a mixed seed with whatever they are. Just one of the ones you sprinkle on your cereals in the morning and you knead them in. So with them you can ask the kids to add them. So you can pretend you're making bread. There you go. So it's all nice and crumbly. You can feel all the seeds, they're all different. And I think it's quite funny to use. So that's it, made. One. We can add some spices. So I have ginger and mace. Do you say ground mace? The same. You could have added the spices with the dried ingredient at the beginning, probably it would have been better, but since I'm demonstrating, we're doing that. So add as much as you want until you feel that the smell is nice. It's not really. So I'm halfway through. We're going to try and make one that is colored. So I've used half of the dose. So I've used half a cup of salt and a cup of flour. I'm going to add the oil. I've added the cream of tartar, so I've added only a teaspoon, and I'll add a bit less oil as well. So the same as that. The only difference is that you have to mix the food coloring with the water before you pour it in, because it mixes better, basically. That's the only reason. So we'll see how it goes with that and how colored it becomes. It's not bright, it doesn't become bright, it's going to be like a kind of pastel color. And the same as that, just start adding some water and then build up to it. So if you realize while you're making it, you realize there's not enough water, so I think that there's not enough food coloring, so that I've got a little bit of water left and I've added to it. If you realize it's too soft, just add some flour. If you realize it's too hard, just add some water. It's really like making bread, basically. So if you like to make bread, you'll like making bread. So as I was saying, it lasts up to 6 months, but you will realize if it's not suitable anymore because it develops mold. It can be eaten, it's disgusting, so the kids won't eat them. But if it happens that they pop it in their mouth, it's not a problem because it's all edible things. So this is a bit too soft. I'm going to add some flour. Oopsie. Again, the more you knead it at the beginning, the more it stretches and it becomes malleable, usable. So that's how it becomes the color. I would add some flour. There you go. So it takes really 5 minutes to make it. It's quite enjoyable, the kids love it, and you love it. There you go, the blue one. See, it's pastel, it's not a proper blue. You can add glitters to it, you can add wee sequins to it, you can make it so if you want to change the texture. You could add dry herbs like lavender. So if with a color like that, it would be cool to add lavender, so it gives it like a kind of smell and texture as well. So you can, I don't know, if you make it pink, you can add dried rose petals. Like pretend you're working for Lush or something and just enjoy it. So I'm attempting to make the last one, and it's going to be one I've never made before, and it's going to be with cocoa powder. That it's there. So because it's a dry ingredient, add it before. So add some cocoa powder. Let's see, I'll add that. I don't know, I'm just trying. Maybe kids would eat the one with cocoa powder. So again, you add your cream of tartar, now your oil, now, oops, it's a bit too much, but it doesn't matter. Mix it. Let's see how it becomes. It smells like a cake, this one, really. So, because there's the cocoa powder, probably is going to be a bit more dry. You never know. And we've got still some blue, but it doesn't matter, it's going to disappear. I'll try to knead it, see how it becomes. Oh, it's a bit funny. It's a bit more sticky than the other one. Maybe it's the cocoa. But it smells amazing. You can't smell it, but it's lovely. And it has got a different texture to it as well. It's more creamy, I don't know. There you go. Again, knead it as much as you can so it becomes more. It stretches the gluten and you don't get a soggy bottom, as Paul Hollywood would say. There you go. Ta-ta! That's it. For Play-Doh to play in something like 10 minutes, I would say, more or less. Enjoy, and if you want to play with this Play-Doh, this very one, you can come tomorrow to the toddler group. Bye!